Were its ice to melt entirely, we'd be mooring boats to the third-floor windows in downtown New York. As it is, its accelerated melting discharges water into the oceans at rates of 273 gigatons per year. This is especially relevant today, as the last decades boast increasingly warmer temperatures, and for Greenland, the highest fluctuation anomaly on record. As we approach the glacier, evidence of massive calving is all around us.
The water's getting thicker and thicker with ice. The fear is that some of this ice may bond as we get closer to the glacier, which would make it virtually impossible for the boat to maneuver through it. Well, definitely getting quite thick now. The boat just landed on top of a piece of ice that we're trying to get over, but it doesn't look very good.
It seems our friends don't like to concede defeat, but sometimes, when faced with overwhelming odds, the best strategy is retreat. Multiple recons of the area, and 2 hours later, we're on our way through an open channel. At last, ahead of us is the foot of the glacier. These are the last humans we're likely to see for the next 45 days. While the boat fades in the distance, we take in the quiet power of our surroundings, and the trip finally sinks in. From this point, there will be no turning back. In the midday sun, the temperatures are unseasonably warm, and all around us, the ice is bleeding. But we're officially on the ice, and about to enter another world. Ascending a glacier means flirting with crevasses. Clearly visible at first, they will become a real threat as we gain in elevation and snow covers them. With 240 pounds in tow, the sharp slope quickly challenges our breathing. With the lowering sun, the wind's cold bite gives us a taste of what lays ahead. And soon, the scale of the landscape begins to stretch all around us, and with it, the scope of our mission. Exposed, bottomless crevasses are a constant reminder of what could happen with one mistake.
All right, so that's a pretty good example of a crevasse right there with a bridge.
These visible bridges are luxury that will be lost once we reach the fern line. Sometimes, a small opening in the ice can lead to one big surprise, like this ice cave.
We're basically under an overhang, a giant piece of ice, which is above us and producing some pretty fresh water here. And there's a moorland. It goes all the way up to the surface. You can see it sort of serpenting up all the way up to the top. Only when you come out this far can you see this kind of beauty.
At this elevation, everything is wet as the meltwater makes its way down to the ocean.
We've made it into the ice cap. This This is our first night in the tent. How's the breakfast experience, Eric?
Well, it still has a lot to be desired. We grabbed some goat milk for its high calorie. It definitely has a peculiar and very strong flavor.
The caloric value on it seemed like the right thing. The nutrition was good, but the taste, unfortunately, it tastes like, pardon my French, but a little bit like ass, or at least goat ass. So we've decided to ditch the goat milk and replace it with some protein powder.
As we ascend the glacier, crevasses get progressively covered with ominous bridges, setting deadly traps at every turn. The higher we climb, the cooler the temperatures, and the more concealed they will get.
We're basically walking through the crevasse field.
Here, at least, it's pretty safe. All the snow's melted off. You can see them. It's just up there, once we pass the fern line, it might become a little bit harder to spot.
Yeah, when we get up to the fern line, we'll rope up so that if one falls, at the very least, it can pull the other one to fall on top of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and for all 4 sleds.
Yeah, I mean, just in case the first one doesn't get killed with the first 2 sledges,
We'll send
got
another person in after them and another 2 sleds.
with another 2 sleds just to finish it off.
When the soft snow breaks underfoot, it often reveals a stream below the ice, soaking our feet.
The snow is very soft, so every so often you sink your foot down to the ankle, and there's a good, I would say like a 20-degree sloping right now on top of it, so it makes it quite a workout.
A large crevasse can reach depths of 100 feet or more. Crevasses are the result of gravity pulling an ice mass downhill and literally cracking it. We take turns in the lead, effectively splitting our chances of an accident. A good bridge will freeze over and give solid footing, but a bad one will collapse without warning. The evening's cooling temperatures firm up the bridges, and we decide to travel late in the day. As we reach the fern line, the cracks are harder to spot, slowing our progress down to a crawl. The subtle depressions in the terrain are critical signs, which can be tough to spot in the fading light.
Well, you know, over there, if we follow this this ridge there along the way, what's that? Yeah, they seem to join up. There's an area over there where it feels like we might be able to cross it over.
After 3 days, the plateau is within reach, but we're still cautious of nasty surprises. When the ice suddenly gives from under you and your legs dangle above a dark, bottomless void. We have climbed 1,300 meters. The rising ice sheet has slowly buried the land below us, but we need more elevation to reach a favorable wind line. The daytime sun bakes the ice, making travel virtually impossible. So we rest. Pulling the sledges uphill through the soft snow would be like dragging them through syrup.
We're waiting for the temperatures to cool down so that the snow gets a little hardened on top. Right now it's very, very soft. We pretty much sink to our knees with every step, so we've spent the day basically drinking tea and saying silly things and sleeping some, and we're going to travel by night. We're setting off. Temperatures definitely cooled down considerably. The wind's picked up. Wind's still in the wrong direction, so we're going to ski through the night again. Luckily the ice is nice and hard now, so we can ski, won't add too much drag to the sledges. We hope to put maybe about 20 kilometers. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, probably a little bit less, maybe 17, 15?
17, 15, something like that. Perhaps 20 if we feel like superheroes.
The landscape is now dominated by ice, with the last of the peaks fading to the south.
We got dropped off near Narsak and we're just slowly climbing up.
We basically rested all night, and this morning it's picked up quite a bit, so we're actually going to be doing some day kiting, which will be a little warmer and a little nicer than anticipated, but the wind's definitely picking up, so we're out there kiting for the first day today.
It's going to be a hot day of kiting though, holy shit, it'll be pretty warm. But hey, I mean it'll be enjoyable like that.
Yeah, Hawaiian ice kiting.
Yeah, oh yeah, check these out. I don't know if they match my helmet, but they're definitely colorful.
The light surface wind barely holds the kite up, but with extended lines, the sail finds the air above, and we begin making distance. There's a feeling you get when the lines tighten, the kite fills with air, and the tug on the harness line propels you forward, using nothing but the power of the wind. It's the same feeling that has captured the imagination through the ages since Icarus. It's called flying. In 1 hour, we had covered more distance than we had in the previous 5 days, until the winds shut off entirely. By morning, we would discover a whole new side of Greenland.
What do you think of the chances to get out today, Eric?
I don't know. I mean, we'll travel. When? I'm not sure. I mean, the way physics work generally is that the winds eventually have to come down.
We're pinned down for the moment, just hoping for this stuff to come down a bit so we can get going again. Great day yesterday, super strong wind today. Eventually this will calm down, and hopefully soon. It's a full-on blizzard out there. We've been pinned down in the tent now for about 16 hours. There's a full-on storm with winds in excess of 60, gusting up to 70 miles per hour outside. It doesn't look like it's letting up, so we're probably going to be here for another day or so. Hopefully no more than that.
We're not going anywhere anytime soon. It's great to see the sun. It gives you that faint glimmer of hope. How do you get blown over by another gust of wind?
With any luck, the tent will hold up. It's giving it a pretty fair shake right now. And hopefully this will blow over and we can get back on our journey. We haven't been able to move for the past 48 hours. The winds are reaching about 60 plus miles per hour. We're not moving anytime soon. Wow. It is nasty out there.
Oh yeah. It got a little bit better at midday. The winds kind of died down a little bit, but now it's just back up again. And if it keeps getting worse, it'll be worse than last night, which was pretty bad.
This is day 3 of being pinned down inside the tent. The winds have actually strengthened by the looks of it. I expect they're blowing at about 70 miles an hour, with gusts probably even stronger than that. We're hoping the tent will hold up at this point. Inside the tent, it's like there's a jet engine going on, and it makes it pretty tough to sleep, needless to say.
Wonderful.
The wind chill temperatures outside reach -40, but inside the tent, when the sun is out, the greenhouse effect can raise temperatures to moderate, even balmy conditions. We take turns braving the cold to dig out the tent.
Well, after 6 days of being pinned down by the winds, the spindrift has built around the tent and essentially buried its sides. And with the cold, that's gotten frozen. So now our job is to excavate the tent and making sure that we don't puncture through the fabric in doing so. And it's quite a job. It'll take quite a few hours just to get us free and ready to go on our journey.
On the morning of our 6th day, the deafening roar and familiar flapping of the tent's fabric is abating. The storm, it would seem, is finally over.
It's the last 6 days of howling winds with all this spindrift that essentially has been burying the tent up. So we've just spent the last few hours digging him back out in an attempt to get out of here.
But no sooner had we cleared the tent that the wind appeared to be building once again.
We just got done excavating our tent out of this hole. Got back into the tent and started to clean up 6 days worth of mess and pack them up in the sledges when a violent gust came, and here we are now. The winds are very strong again, and we are stuck in the tent because it's just too windy to go out and kite again. So it's almost 7 o'clock on day 6. The good news is we've excavated the tent. The bad news is that we're not on kites.
Nuts. I am going nuts. That is what I have to say. This is crazy. Losing touch with reality, isn't this fun?
With an onslaught of winds reaching 80 miles per hour, you have to admire the design ingenuity of the sum of nylon cloth, 4 poles and a few lines to anchor them, which together amount to an oasis of relative tranquility amidst such external chaos. There is undeniable poetry in the violent and chaotic expression of nature's forces. In the afternoon light, the sound and the fury begin to play in rhythmic harmony, and the frigid and threatening environment turns into an ethereal dance, delicate, graceful, and expressive. By the afternoon of the 7th day, the winds came down enough to give us back control of the narrative. We dug ourselves out of our hole, and we were out of there. The wind held up, and we glided into the night, making up lost miles under a Fata Morgana moonrise.
Pretty nice way to end the bad wind spell.
Oh yeah, definitely a nice way to end it. Yeah, a nice 5 hours of kiting. And a couple of victory laps. Just
Yeah.
add to it, just because you can.
From adding 100-kilometer winds to 10-kilometer winds all in the span of 3 days.
Yeah, this is a lot more chilled out than the howling wind.
It's definitely chilled out. Very relaxed.
It is indeed.
Yeah, come to Greenland. Enjoy peace.
Chill.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's not crowded.
Very low population density.
Yeah, very low density. It's a country of extreme, Greenland, you know?
It is, yeah, exactly.
The winds all but died down. They can't even fly the kites up. On day 16, we did, I think, about 13 kilometers in 4 hours. What I keep thinking is it beats walking, but not by a long shot, because the wind is straight in our backs, which is probably the worst direction to have, especially in low winds, because there's virtually no pull on the kite, so it's been relatively miserable.
In dead calm conditions on an ice sheet, the silence is deafening.
Hello. This is taking a nap when there's no wind.
We settle for a nap and wait. And wait. And wait.
Yeah, no, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Neither are we.
The winds keep changing directions. Yeah. This is a windsock in bad need of some Viagra.
With the sun setting, we finally pack it in for the night and set up camp. Another day lost, and with it more miles. With 13 kilometers for the day, we're a long shot from the 508-kilometer record. What a difference a day makes. By morning, a breeze gets us on our way, and soon the soft snow glides below our skis. With clear skies and moderate temperatures, that forgotten sensation is back. The tug of the lines, the jolt forward, the taut lines to the sledges behind, and that virtually effortless propulsion forward. We're finally making miles. We settle on 2-hour runs and 15-minute breaks, and ride right into the evening when temperatures plummet to -20, firming up the ice. With the conditions on our side, we'll take a practice run at the record and push until we drop. But after 230 kilometers, a looming shape in the distance puts an end to our run.
Right out there on the horizon is Die 2. It's about 30 kilometers away. After 17 days of seeing nothing but ice, it's sort of odd to see essentially what looks like a monolith erecting out on the ice.
Like a spectre on the horizon, this abandoned military building is our trip's first objective, and a regular stop for snowmobile expeditions and the shorter east-west crossings. In the midnight sun, after 16 hours on the run, we had finally reached Die 2. Die 2 is one of 4 structures on Greenland that were part of the Distant Early Warning System, or the Dew Line. Stretching from Alaska to Iceland, the Dew Line was a string of radar stations set up by the US and Canada to monitor Russian ballistic activities in the Arctic during the Cold War. The advent of satellite technology made the line obsolete, and it was decommissioned in the late 80s. Die 2 was abandoned in 1988. It is flanked by a runway still used to practice Antarctic takeoffs and landings, and is maintained nearby by a very small camp.
Hey there. How you doing, Sebastian?
Sebastian? All right.
What's your name?
Drew.
Drew.
Yeah.
How long have you been stationed here?
We got here at the end of April, 3rd week of April, and we stay until about that time in August.
And then after that, it gets dismantled?
Yep. The whole thing comes down and we take it back to Kangaroo Sack.
Sweet digs.
Yeah. We've got that wind generator and solar panels out there, so we've got all the power we need.
The couple at Raven Camp make up the entire population density of the Greenland ice sheet, and with months in isolation, a pet project can lead to unusual companionship.
All right, let's go tackle Die 2.
Part cathedral and part sci-fi movie set, this relic of a bygone era is a de facto stop for most expeditions on Greenland. 10 stories high, the building was raised on hydraulic columns, capable of lifting the massive structure to adjust to the shifting ice.
And here it is. The only entrance. You can smell the smell already, eh?
The place was abandoned as if in a hurry and has remained unchanged since, but for the lead paint peeling off the walls and the toxic smells of PCBs and old cigarette butts.
Oh, did you see the guest book in there?
Where is it?
It's just there on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
sign.
sign and...
Sign the guest book.
This is where most of the Coke is. It's just some beer left over.
Oh, yeah.
Check that out.
20-year-old Coca-Cola. Do you think it's still good?
Obviously.
So basically they hitched the building up. They built it on these pillars. As the structure was sinking in, they basically raised the entire structure by somehow having this, it must be on hydraulics or a cranking system.
That's always a little bit creepy. Remember that from the last time.
Yeah. That's the generator room, which powered up the entire station.
This is what kept this place alive.
In this room, all the various expeditions that have come through here are signing their names.
2007, Curtis, Sarah, Eric.
An extra toilet when you've been spending a few weeks without one. Looks pretty appealing.
Oh yeah. We might have to take this one with us. Jumpy. We won't get to do this in a little while. So that's gotta be the side door to the dome, but it's obviously not open.
There are frozen egg trays and bread loaves, soft drinks by the cases, and coffee cans and sugar, as well as a metal shop, tools and electronics. Die 2 smells of a civilization that did not make it, a post-apocalyptic vision into the future. The purpose of this deserted building is almost prophetic. This, I can't help but think, is what we'll look like after we've gone.
Like this is kind of what you imagine the space shuttle to be a little bit like.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
With all the dials here, you can be like...
Were aliens to stumble upon this archaeological site, they might wonder what a vacuum cleaner is, but they'd get a pretty good idea of the female anatomy from the adult magazines lying everywhere. Mostly, they would think we're a pretty messy bunch and very cold-blooded to settle for such a place.
You mean there's stairs?
There, yeah. All right, let's go on the floor.
Let's go check it out. Wow.
This is it.
That is pretty remarkable. We're inside the dome, which is the cornerstone of this whole operation, the whole ballistic monitoring device.
Dwarfed by this giant, we would soon leave behind the place that time had forgotten.